Hello, welcome to theCUBE. I'm John Furrier, your host here in the Big Apple, New York City for AWS Summit. We are on the ground floor in the expo hall getting all the action. It's Cloud AI Week in New York City, of course. theCUBE has this New York Stock Exchange studio and Palo Alto connecting Silicon Valley and Wall Street. But here we're on the ground getting all the action. Amazon is introducing new models around Nova. Obviously the agent wave is here. AgentCore is the big news. Ben Schreiner's here, AWS lead on AI spokesperson. What's your title?
I am the head of AI and modern data strategy business development.
Okay.
It's a mouthful.
Okay, so welcome to theCUBE. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you,
jacket.
congrats.
Hey, I love the agent wave, and I met with Deepak, Matt Garman, and the team all last month. We rolled out a halftime report, and you know, the programming side of it, and obviously pre-event, Kiro was released. The agentic efficiency and performance is, you're starting to see a lot of meat on the bone relative to like what the value is. It's not just vibe coding, and you're starting to see now the configuration side of agents where people are thinking, okay, I love agents, you had me at agents, automating things, great, but is it work? Are they delegated properly? Is it trusted? This is the top conversation. This has been big for AWS to have all this code shipping this early. It's not even reInvent.
It isn't reInvent, and it's very exciting here in the Big Apple. Big news, of course, with AgentCore coming out, and really demonstrating our innovation kind of ahead of the problems you could foresee that agents could create if they weren't governed, if they weren't observed, if they didn't have a secure runtime. So you can really see the innovation coming out of our engineering teams to help enterprises not only develop these agents, but also make sure that they're deploying them in a secure, reliable way.
You know, I've been following Amazon for such a long time as a customer in the early days when they first came out, and obviously with theCUBE going back to 2012, 2013, when reInvent was kicking around. What I noticed is obviously you guys work backwards from the customer, always strong coding and development environment. You've been leaning in internally. We've talked to a lot of people in the team, but the customers are driving a lot of the requirements on how they see AI. So it's not like Amazon's version of agents. Hey, take it and use it. There's a lot of back and forth. Can you share the customer side of this? Because I know there's a lot of engagements, and we've documented a bunch of them, because they have unique use cases, and AI is great for personalization as well. So like, how is that customer motion working in some of the product development, and also for them deploying agents in these early days?
Well, you hit on a key component of our leadership principles, that customer obsession, as well as our mechanism for working backwards. And that's at the root of how we approach all customers. They're all unique, and there may be some themes and trends that transcend customer segments or industries, but we want to take each customer's challenge and what they're trying to do and work backwards from that. And we get a lot of incredible feedback. We have some amazing customers that are incredibly demanding and have high expectations, which we love because it informs the roadmap. It tells us what they're trying to do, and we do our very best to incorporate that feedback into the engineering process. Our Gen AI lab, which we announced a new refreshed investment of another $100 million focused on the agentic boom. You're getting a lot of real-time feedback on what people want to be able to do. We can't anticipate all the needs, so we're listening and we're trying to incorporate that into our approach as we go forward. You
know, vibe coding was so last year, but now engineering is this year's focus, and you're starting to see with Kiro and the news around Nova, the customization, also the AgentCore, this element of vibe coding to get going, and then the configurations and some of those hooks that are needed to get stuff to production. I mean, that's one of the big themes that Matt Garman posted on LinkedIn prior to the event, and you're starting to see in the announcements is, okay, great, vibe coding gets it going, ideation, and then the speed to production has been the big conversation for the past year. You know, great POCs out there, but now it's a production game. Can you share some examples of how that's going and how this news relates to accelerating?
Yeah, I'm super excited about Kiro. I'm so glad it's not a secret anymore. The opportunity to have vibe coding and non-technical people describe what it is they need, right, to do their job or do whatever they want for their customers. That visualization and the components there help the development team who understands security, reliability, the needs of an enterprise. And Kiro brings those two things together for the first time, where you're seeing the requirements and the documentation and all the things that need to go into creating a production-ready solution. So many customers got stuck in POC land, and it's unfortunate. But if you don't get into production, then you didn't really solve the problem that you had identified. And so while POCs are great learnings, and I think we're all in learning phase for the last couple of years, it really is time to see the value. And we take that customer obsessed, but production and scale is the goal, and we drive towards that with our customers.
Ben, talk about the speed game, because this has come up. It's been the theme. I was out in June previewing with the execs kind of a halftime report. That was the common theme from all the execs: speed, velocity, pace of play in AI. It's been magical on one hand, but also it forces the change side of it quickly. Talk about how the change management inside organizations, because not only is it obvious that AI and agents are going to be a value proposition for business.
Absolutely.
The question is, okay, how do you put that into process?
Yeah.
The people see the vibe coding, they see prompt engineering, they start to see these tools getting easier and easier. How is that change happening? Is it matching the speed because the machines are getting faster?
I think the machines are running ahead of us right now. If I'm honest, the change is absolutely critical, and it comes down to leadership, right? From the top down, you're seeing leaders say, we are going to approach problems differently. And that allows us and others to take a proactive, like, how do you bring your people along the journey? How do you give them tools so they can experiment? How do you create a culture of iteration? Gone are the days where you had 18-month life cycles of product development and release. Now you're 18-day or 18-second, depending on what you're trying to do. So the speed is there, and I think some companies struggle with adaptation, and those who are really going to be competitive in the AI era are going to be the ones that adapt quickly and are always seeking those outside influences, taking that, understanding how to turn it into a competitive advantage, leveraging the tools to do so.
So I love your title, AWS Head of AI and Modern Data Strategy Business Development. Okay, that's a mouthful, but let's unpack that. Head of AI, which means obviously AI is the driving of all the change.
All conversations.
Modern data strategy is a topic we've been unpacking a lot on theCUBE the past couple of years. Most recently, that data layer, you're starting to see SageMaker, Bedrock play a big role in kind of the Amazon piece of it on the stack. Obviously platform engineering with Kubernetes is rock solid and all the stuff going on the platform engineering side. But now you look at the AI stack, what is the best strategy and what are some of the things you've seen around companies who are, I won't say fumbling, they're just kind of resetting their system architecture for what their distributed computing is going to look like. They want the large scale performance of the AI infrastructure, and that's causing kind of a rethinking of their data estates, their databases, the role of the databases. And you got vibe coding and you got these tools coming in, it's going to accelerate coding. It's forcing them now to look at this.
Yeah.
What is the playbook? What is the best practice that you could share around, the kind of profile customers? And is it by industry or is it by size? So what give us a little taste of what you're seeing develop?
So the best playbook and the pattern that we've noticed is customers having some success in POC where they've had a small data set, but then they go to scale and it breaks. It doesn't meet the expectations. And quite frankly, if we go back to our root where we're working backwards from what's the problem, it should be what's the problem, what is the data I need to solve this problem, then you get into models and frameworks and so forth. Far too many have gone, I have a model, let's see what I can do with it, and are kind of doing the process, unfortunately, in reverse and having mixed results as you've highlighted. So I would say many customers have struggled with their data for a very long time. It usually was down on their priority list because they had other priorities. Now that AI is at the top of their priority list, the data dependency is critical. We need executives to understand that the machines and the agents that you create are only as good as the data they have access to. And so if you want good answers from your agentic workflows or anything you do with AI, then you've got to make sure the data it has access to is strong. And that gets to governance, it gets to security, it gets to all the things that we've been professing for decades now, if I'm honest, right? But I think we're now getting the ear of the C-suite where they're starting to understand that it's a critical component to success.
When you're in meetings in the day in the life of what you do internally at AWS and also with customers, what are some of the conversations that you have? Is it more of will the parachute open kind of thing? Or are they more, no one jumps out of a plane without a parachute training or class. So you got to do the work on the front end. And we're starting to see that if you do this stuff on the front end, the data scales, because you start to look at now agents as a multiplier effect. And this has come up a lot in, last week I was in Paris talking about the cost of tokens.
Right.
And they're starting to look at how the models are being architected. You don't want to waste tokens on basic services.
Oh my gosh, you don't.
You could use compute, you could use other things.
Right.
Tooling is getting better. So there's a lot going on around AI that's changed. Can you share your perspective on, what's the state-of-the-art kind of landscape on tooling, relationships to the models, and how customers are managing that cost per token piece of it? Because that's where the money is spent.
So I'll say this. I think there's a misnomer or a myth out there that there'll be one model or even one agentic framework to rule them all. Quite frankly, that's an oversimplification. And if it helps you understand the first step, okay. But hopefully soon you'll get past that and realize that models are all trained different. They're all good at different things. The frameworks have different purposes. And so really our approach is founded in choice. It's founded in aligning the return on investment for the problem that you're solving. And so I foresee, and many of our conversations is you want that user interface to be as clean and simple and easy to understand as possible. But then behind that, you want something that can actually route the query to the right model or to the right framework to solve the problem. So agents are not just simple question answer. They're going to get more complex workflows, more tools at their disposal. And that capability is awe-inspiring and has many people just eager to figure out how do I get started. And the Gen AI Lab is a great place to start that journey.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on something I'm observing and get your reaction to. One is the hot area, obviously, is coding. You're seeing that with what you guys are announcing, obviously. The other area is the business model transformation in the customer side.
Yes.
And you start to see the use cases around sales and marketing. What data do they have? So marketing is a great area that's been innovating. So you got the business logic side, which kind of bleeds into kind of the data analytics space, which is mature. So you got the analytics market converging in with this new generative software development environment that used to be called app dev, meaning almost rename it and call it agent dev. So you have this massive tsunami of speed development and business model transformation. Who's driving what here? What's the driver? Because you have pre-existing departments that have been doing analytics.
Yes.
Data analytics, data warehousing, data in the cloud. With this new era coming in, is it a collision course? Does it marry well? How are customers leaning into this? Do they come in from the analytics side? What's the change
There's a
driver?
spectrum, John. I mean, for sure, all customers are different and coming at this at a different level of maturity. The ones that have those practices, I think, have a leg up because they've got their arms around their data. If anything, there's an explosion of data pulling sources that you didn't use before. It's getting easier and easier to access. And then you couple in the agentic capabilities, and now you're able to combine things in new and different ways that allow for new value to be generally created. And so it's an exciting time. And I think the big difference now is there is an overarching sense of urgency at the top of the house, right? There is we need to figure this out. And that has all the best minds trying to solve the problem. And that's exciting because we're usually right there in the mix having those conversations. And it really is about the art of the possible. And I like to say this, we have a leadership principle you're very familiar with, which is, think big. And I'd like to even say it's think bigger. I don't think people are thinking big enough about what's possible and the transformation that's going to happen in their industry.
I also learned about the think big principle yesterday from Byron. There's the ladder approach too.
Sure.
The ladder to the big idea.
Yes.
Take us through that, because I think one of the things you mentioned I want to just unpack a little bit is that, analytics gave me a dashboard, some kind of view, and I'm oversimplifying it, but the idea, okay, what's going on in the business?
Right.
I think you hit a good point, which is we're seeing the same thing, which is what problem can we solve to make our business better?
Right.
Customer experience better or the product better. It's zeroing in on those things.
Yes.
And then working back, right? That's the working backwards.
Exactly.
Not to tie that together.
You nailed it.
But this seems to where the C-suite's like, okay, all the dogma and fashion about what tools we want to solve this problem. Can it do it? So the first question is it possible?
Right.
And then
you need to start,
yes, what do we do?
I would say it starts with defining that problem. AI is an amazing ability to compress time.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, any of the examples that anybody could give you, it usually is some time savings involved. Other savings as well, but time savings is is the easiest. So all business executives should be looking at their processes, their interactions with their customers for where are the areas where there's a lot of time spent and can we compress it? If it's customer service and I'm putting you on hold, can I avoid putting you on hold so I have a better customer satisfaction, better answer time to resolution?
Yeah.
All of those examples really are what's the best problem. Then you get to, can I solve it, right? So do I have the data and the right model to solve that problem efficiently? We've got both BMW and F1 have focused their agentic journey on root cause analysis, right? So they have an outage of some kind, there's some problem.
The pain point.
And, oh my gosh. F1, I believe it was 15 days to resolve, and they've taken it down to now a day, and triage is in, under an hour. So if you can triage faster because you have agents gathering the information, which used to be manual, and now it's being brought together automatically, you can really cut a lot of time and get some real value.
Ben, you just hit a great point there, because I think one of the things that would come up in some of the other conversations with Amazon and customers is that the evaluation go, no go decision of is it possible would be like a meeting, get everyone together, scope the problem. What Kiro, I saw the demo yesterday, was interesting because you can see that actually gives an answer.
Yes.
It actually does an analysis.
An evaluation, yeah.
Is it possible? So it's already doing agentic work on your behalf in line. It's almost like a developer CI/CD pipeline for business.
It really is combining those two things. I mean, as long as I've been in technology, the business has been separate from IT, and that gap has been a challenge for many organizations. And Kiro has a great opportunity to be that collaboration platform between the two groups to speed up that interaction and get to production, right? That's where the problem gets solved, is when you're scaled in production.
Yeah, I think the technology transformation story we've been talking about over a decade, but you just hit it. It's not just technology, it's the business model transformation, the business side. How is that affecting your job? Take us through what you do on a daily basis. Are you out talking to customers? Are you working internally? What is your day-to-day job, and how are you using this new? Are you riding the wave? What's your surfboard look like? What do you do? How do you do your job?
So my team is incredible. I've got a group of 8 that actually have a great opportunity. We have something called the Competitive Advantage Program, where we bring in an executive team to inspire them. We bring them into one of our fulfillment centers, and they walk the 4 million square feet and see data and AI at a scale that is pretty impressive. And then we get into a discussion after they see what we're doing, right? Where we have a modern data strategy, we have a layer of intelligence, all making the people more safe, effective, and efficient, so that you get the package to your house faster. And hopefully you had success on Prime Day most recently. I certainly did. But that experience, once we're done with that tour, we then go in and talk about that company's current competitive advantage. We talk about how might that change be threatened or enhanced with the AI era. And then we talk about what can we do together to make sure your company is prepared to be successful in the AI era.
You're customer facing.
Correct.
And you then go into Amazon's arsenal of examples and bring that showcase to the customer.
Exactly.
And then map that to them. Okay, this brings me to my final question, which is, this has come up, this is kind of counterintuitive, but give me your thoughts. One is, you go back, say 5-10 years ago, you guys were organized, and most companies were organized by industry.
Yes.
Oh yeah, oil and gas, media. Now we're seeing AI mostly is scoped to, and I'll let see if you disagree or disagree, but like, it's more like profile of the customer profile. If you're SMB or like X, so the size of the customer is more adequate for mapping to what a comparable is. It's not by industry per se, because AI is kind of agnostic. Unless there's like labeling or some sort of...
I think it's an intersection, right? Because again, the data fuels the AI, and the data by industry is very unique, right? I mean, our health scribe, right, is like doctors talk a totally different language than I do, right? And I don't understand it. So the industries have their own languages. Financial services, I know you do a lot of work there. They have their own language, right? And so the data, the labeling of the data that feeds AI, I do think is germane to the industry. But you're right, the right size customer, I think it's an intersection
it's both,
of
because
those
the
two
language
things.
models or the foundation models have vertical models.
Many do. Like Bloomberg created their own model with us, right? So you have industry specific, but then you have the generic. The foundational models are generic, and they have data from all industries. So really, again, working backwards from the problem, let's figure out the right mix of solutions.
All right, so what's on your to-do list for the second half of the year? And give us a look back. We're at the halfway point, a little bit over the halfway point to reInvent. Give us an update on what's happened in the first half of the year for you and your organization, and what's your goals for the second half?
Yeah, I mean, it's customer engagement. I mean, this is, we are trying to ride the wave, as you said, and have as many engaging, inspiring conversations so that customers realize that we're here for the long haul. We're going to continue to innovate. We'll continue to develop on their behalf. But we really want to establish that partnership so that we are working with them to achieve their goal of growing their company and satisfying their customers. So I look forward in H2 to even more customer interactions. I look forward to all the customer interactions at reInvent. That's a great opportunity to meet with customers. And right now, it's just helping customers develop that strategy that they need, that vision, and then start executing and scale as fast as possible.
For the customers that you haven't met with yet, give a quick plug on how to engage with you. What's the best motion? Is it a meeting? Is it a briefing? And then you guys get together? Is it face-to-face?
Yeah, I mean, the best way to engage my team particularly is reach out to your account teams. Your account teams can get a hold of us. We'll source the right resources. But there are no customers right now, in my opinion, that have maximized the value they could get out of AWS. So communicate what you're trying to do so that our teams can try and bring all of the resources we have to bear to help you achieve your goals.
Yeah, you got a lot of partners too.
The partner ecosystem is vast, and they're here. The expo is full of software providers that are built on top of AWS, and the combination of ISVs, integration partners, and then the native tools is really a winning strategy.
I was talking to an ecosystem partner the other day, and they were telling me that in customer meetings, they're actually coding as a demo.
Like they're live.
And they're like, oh, that would be great if you can ship it. I just did. Click this link. So you're starting to see that kind of velocity.
Yeah, you are, and the eyes get open,
right? That's a game changer.
Well, it reinforces that sense of speed and urgency when you're doing that live with a customer. We're doing that as well. It's
Ben,
a lot
great
of fun.
to see you. Thanks for coming on. Great content. Okay, we're here on the ground. I'm John Furrier, your host of theCUBE. We are at the AWS Summit here in New York City. Again, it's AI Cloud Week for theCUBE. And again, we're doing our best to bring that content to you. Thanks for watching.